Hey guys, it's Brody and welcome back to Ambitious Angler Fishing. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install the Newport NK300 electric kayak motor to this Old Town Bigwater 132 PDL. If you're anything like me and love kayak fishing, you know very well it takes a lot of time and energy using your legs to pedal or arms to paddle. Come on, push. But finally, after 2 good full years of kayak fishing, I finally pulled the trigger on a new motor to help me out. Now, from the research I've been doing online, this NK300 motor is actually one of the top 3 kayak motors on the market. And this one here is relatively easy to install from the research that I have done. As long as you have like a 4-screw pattern here to mount, like I say, an anchor mount or a light pole, this motor will go on quite easy. Now, as far as my kayak goes, I haven't seen anything online with the Old Town Bigwater version, but I have seen the Newports attached to the 106 PDL, the 120 PDL, and the 136 autopilot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unbox this electric kayak motor, and I'm gonna show you all the components and the pieces for the full kayak motor install. And then I'm gonna show you 2 modifications that I have to make to this Bigwater in order for this kayak motor install to work. All right, guys, let's open her up and see what components that we have. Okay, first we have the controller here. And there she is. That's our throttle that we're going to control our motor with. And some extra cable for power. Next is our installation kit right here. Instruction manual. And this is our power cable that will go from the battery to the motor. And this right here is one of my personal favorites of this whole kit. Is basically a bag of the tools and everything you need to do it. And it's basically tool-free because they provide everything in here for you to do it. Next, we have the mount bracket. Now this is what's going to hold our motor in place on the back of our Old Town PDL. So we got some pins here, but this is the important part. There's the mount bracket right there. Now for the main event, the motor itself. So let's get this guy out. There she is, guys, right there. That's the NK300 electric kayak motor. I think it's around 30 pounds, give or take, but I will put the exact weight on the screen. All right, the only other piece left to unbox is the battery. Now this Newport NK300 runs on a 36-volt battery, and Newport has batteries of their own on their website, and their batteries are pretty awesome. They are all lithium, and they are Bluetooth as well. But this one particularly is proprietary, and I like this one a lot because I fish in a lot of salt water, so I wanted a battery that was going to be capable of getting wet on the kayak because I don't have any shelter for it. So here is the manual for the battery, and here are the cables, and I'll show you what I mean by waterproof here in a second. So basically this little low pro battery is like a little briefcase. Whenever I bought the NK300, I bought the bundle kit, and with that came their proprietary low pro battery. It is a lithium, 38.4, 50 amp, has Bluetooth capabilities. It is waterproof, and if you wanted to buy more than one, these are actually stackable on top of each other and they connect. Okay, we'll take her right out here. This is what it's gonna look like. Looks pretty sick. Now, what I meant by waterproof with this thing is the connectors here actually protect it from the water. So whenever we go down here, these little caps actually pop off. And then you take your connectors and you basically just push down until you hear a click. So basically after these 2 are clicked down, there's no way that water is actually going to get up and get into your attachment points in the battery. So with that being said, this is perfect for my kayak fishing adventures. I'm going to have this out and just on the back deck of my kayak, and I know there's going to be some saltwater spray hitting it, but this will keep that protected. Now with this Newport motor and it being lithium, these are chargeable. This is a 36-volt charger. And there's our battery charger for the low pro. All right, so there's the complete unboxing, but I'm going to show you a kayak modification that I'm going to make before I do the install. Now, for any of you guys that actually own an Old Town fishing kayak, you know that some of these factory parts are not liked by some of the kayak fishing community, and one of them in particular is the rudder. It's just a plastic rudder, and I find that it is quite flimsy. Now I notice that this does give me some issues whenever I am out pedaling really fast or pedaling in current. The kayak wants to shift very, very easily, and what I have to do is have my hand really tight on the throttle up here. Now I already have made one modification by putting a bolt through here to tighten up my steering, but I'm still getting a lot of play and flimsiness out of this rudder. But luckily for us Old Town and Hobie kayak owners, there's a guy online, his name is Nick at navarrekayakfishing.com. I'll leave his website in the description below. He makes tons of aftermarket parts for the Old Town kayaks and the Hobie kayaks. So what I did was buy one of his metal rudders, and I'm going to install that today because this does not have any flimsiness at all. So this metal rudder is going to be needed because whenever that motor is going, I do not want any flimsiness in my rudder. Now I'm not going to show you how I install this because there is an instructional video on his website or on YouTube for you guys to watch whenever you guys do decide to install one of these, and I'll leave it in the video description below. All right, about 30 to 45 minutes later, it's piss pouring rain right now, but we do have the metal rudder from navarrekayakfishing.com installed on the Old Town Bigwater. So let's get the motor installation started, folks. Okay, to make this installation on the Old Town Bigwater 132 PDL doable, you do need to have an offsetted mount. That way you can mount your motor on the back alongside of your rudder. Otherwise, if you do use the plate that's right here, you're gonna have to take this rudder off and you're gonna have to mount it exactly to the back. But you will be able to keep your rudder as long as you have this plate right here. You can get this plate on navarrekayakfishing.com, which I'll still link in the video description below. So basically these holes right here are gonna line up right here on this plate. You take out your screws, and then it has a slot right here for your rudder to sit in. And then you can just lock it down like this. And then these 4 screw holes here is basically the offset for your motor. So what I'm gonna do is get these screws out of the back, and then we'll put the plate on. Okay, now that we got the screws out, we're gonna take our plate here. Now, Nick does actually provide all the screws for this plate. So we're gonna line up our holes here, and we're gonna place it down. There it is, folks. Nice and secure, no space underneath. It's very, very tight to that platform. And basically the motor mount is gonna hang right off the edge, right there, right beside the rudder. Okay, now we're gonna take our Newport mount right here, and we're gonna take these 4 screws out and line it up with the holes that are already drilled inside. And these holes line up perfectly. It's the perfect fit.
That's what she said. Or he said.
It's secure. So now we have the Newport bracket mounted on the kayak. Next is going to be taking the actual motor itself. Now, to mount this, there's a little pin that comes with it, and it's basically going to go through one end of this and out the other side of this, and basically it connects right to the bracket, and I'll show you what I mean. And we're just going to secure it on the other side. Screw that end back on. We're going to take our pin, put that back through the hole here, lock it in place. Now it's not going anywhere. Now, next we're going to be taking this pin right here, and it does have protective rings on the end, so we're going to remove one of those rings. Just like that. We're going to feed one end of it through this hole here. Now, having this in, it'll keep the motor in line at a 90-degree angle, which is what we want. So I'm going to push that through. Basically, that's just acting as a guide, like a stopping guide. Basically, that pin is just there for whenever I am dropping the motor down, it's going to stay at a 90-degree angle like that. Now you guys might actually be worried about the actual rudder hitting the motor, but it won't. Turning it sideways this way, this thing is still gonna spin right behind it. So it's not actually gonna hit it at all. It looks like it's terrible close, but it actually won't. And if you turn it this way, same thing. Seeing at this angle, the actual propeller is behind the rudder. So it can't hit it no matter what you do. And this thing here is going to be locked in place. I am not going to be using this as a steering mechanism, and I'll show you how to lock it centrally so that way it doesn't shift. Okay, to secure this actual motor in place, this is the steering lock screw out of the installation kit. There's 2 of them. There's actually a lot of spare parts with this kit, so make sure you save your spare parts. But basically you're going to take this screw and you're going to see a little hole right here. Right below it, there's a little hole right there as well. So you just line up this hole with this hole, just turn it until you see light, drop that pin down, and it actually screws in with an Allen key wrench. So I'm gonna go grab one of those and we'll screw that in. Okay, we have an Allen key. I'm just gonna screw this pin right down until it tightens up. So now as you can see guys, she's locked in place. This motor cannot turn. I'm not using the steering system from this. I'll be using it from my Old Town Rudder down here. That's where I want to turn. But I have run into a little tiny issue. I have been playing around with it a bit, but my propeller is on the other side towards the kayak. That's going to put me in reverse. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is loosen up these screws here, and you'll have to unscrew this one as well, basically just to rotate the whole thing. All right, so after loosening those screws, I'm able to rotate this right around. I'm just gonna flip the rudder up, and we're gonna get this the way we want it, like that, and we'll line it up as best as we can. It's pretty good there, so we're gonna tighten those screws back up here and up here on the mount. Okay, next is this little bar. So what we have to do is take this screw out, put this in place, screw into this bar, out the other side, tighten it up, and then we're gonna hook carabiners for our pulley system on the top. Now just so you guys know, and I have said this already, but it does come with all the tools in this kit. I just like to use the socket set just to help me out a little quicker. All right, so we take those screws out, take our bar, put that right into place here, line those holes up, feed it back through, tighten her up. Okay, now I'm going to show you the pulley system setup. So we're going to hook up our carabiners and get our pulleys all lined up. Hey guys, it's Brody, back in the shop. 48 hours later after the installation. I am here tonight because I wanted to adjust my pulley cord system. So whenever I installed this motor and I initially started to use the pulley cord system, whenever I raised this motor up in the air and pulled my cords from up where I sit on the kayak, this thing is very, very heavy. So tonight I'm actually back in the shop, snipping pulley cords that I shouldn't be, but I think I finally found a way that this is gonna work for me. So let me show you how my pulley cord system works. So as far as the pulley cord system on the motor itself, tonight in the shop, I haven't changed a thing about it. So straight out of the box for the Newport NK300, you're gonna take your actual carabiner that comes with the kit and you're gonna connect it to this ring. Now you're gonna have green cord on here and that's to help raise and lower your motor. But my dumbass cut some of the green cord by accident and it was way too short, so I couldn't use it anymore. So I ended up finding some replacement blue cord. You're gonna feed that up into the pulley system, and that pulley system is gonna be connected to another carabiner, and both of these come with the kit. The carabiner is actually connected to the top here through this little loop. Now, as far as the cord coming up alongside the kayak, I haven't made any changes. Both of my reverse and my raise and lower of the motor, these cords here are going right under these pad eye mounts that I have mounted to the Old Town Bigwater track. Nothing else has changed here. Both of these cords are actually going under my seat, not disturbed at all. When we get up here, I haven't changed anything else with the pulley cord for the actual reverse. So basically I'm just gonna pull this to go in reverse. And what I mean by that is whenever this gray cord gets pulled, you're gonna see this little plate lock right over top of this pin. It locks right around that pin, so now the motor can actually go back. And that locking mechanism on the reverse pull cord is important because whenever you put this NK300 in reverse and you don't have that reverse pull cord lock engaged, that motor is gonna go airborne, and that's how you scare the shit out of yourself. Now comes the issue that I had the other night. So previously my green pull cord was run right through this cam cleat, and I planned on using these teeth from the cam cleat to lock my green pull cord down whenever my actual motor was raised in the air. So over the last 48 hours, I decided to actually take another pulley system and connect it right around this loop of the cam cleat. So if I pull up on this, it's less effort to actually raise that motor up in the air. Even from back here, on my point of view, raising and lowering is actually quite easy. And what I did was attach one of these brass little carabiner clips, and this does not come with the kit. So what I did was I cut off enough of the cord for this thing to reach all the way up to the factory pad eye on the Old Town right here on the side. So whenever I pull this up, my motor's raising, and then I can connect it right there. And that will hold my motor up in the air just like this. So I actually feel like this little pulley system that I've created here tonight in the shop is actually gonna be much more beneficial for me on my next kayak fishing trip. Now, back to the rest of the installation, guys. And next we're gonna actually mount our throttle on, and then we're gonna get some cables connected. And pretty much the rest of it's pretty clear sailing, so let me show you. Okay folks, here is the NK300 throttle. As you can see right here, we have a kill switch. This motor will not be mobile if you don't have this kill switch in place. It's important to tie on something on the end of this and tie the other piece to you in case you fall off. You want that to come undone because this motor is just gonna take off and go as long as it can go. So very important piece of equipment. Have that kill switch attached to you with some sort of a cord. Okay guys, so for the throttle, on the back here, you're gonna have a plate, and there's gonna be two holes that are kind of left empty. Now, this is where you're gonna have to find some sort of a mounting option for you. I like going with ram mount options, and I got the 1-inch ball ones here, and I have this little piece right here, so this is gonna attach onto this, and then this is gonna attach onto here. Right here, I have one of these little tough claws, the ones that kind of clamp, and you kind of turn it and twist it. That's on my handle of the Old Town Kayak. I will leave links to all of this, like I said, in the description below. But there was one little issue I ran into while I was doing this, is I had to have the proper screws to fit the threads of this plate in the holes that were empty, and I didn't. Luckily, Father came to the rescue. So just kind of keep in mind, before you start doing the install, go out to your local hardware store and find screws that are gonna fit this plate where the holes are already pre-drilled. So we're gonna take the ram mount, we're gonna stick it on to one end right here, and I'm gonna mount it right here beside me, twist that on. And the beauty of the ram mounts, man, is you can twist them and turn them wherever way you want them. And then the cord that is connected to the throttle, I'm just gonna stick it in underneath, and I'll take this longer cord and we're gonna connect it to the motor. So I'm taking the longer cable, thread that on like that. Now I'm gonna take the long piece of cable that goes to the motor. I'm just gonna thread it under the seat here, pull it through. Now there's quite a mess in this kayak, as you can see. All my parts and everything are in here. But let's get the battery hooked up and I'll show you the motor when it's running. Okay, so grabbing our low pro battery, 38.4 volt, 50 amp. This guy weighs 31 pounds. The motor that we have on the back is 25 pounds. So you're gonna be adding an extra 58 pounds to your kayak using this setup. And the speed that you will go will determine on how much extra gear that you have in the kayak, just to kind of keep that in mind. We're gonna take this end particularly, and we're gonna come right down here. We're gonna take this end and we're gonna plug in positive to positive, negative to negative. Plug that in till it clicks, then you're all set. All right, now we come up here and we take our positive and negative cables that are coming from the motor. These are gonna be attached to the battery, so they're already color coded for you. I'm just gonna push in here. Now keep in mind, whenever you push down, you're gonna hear a click. That means it's secured. That's one click. And over here, same thing. Push down, click again, there. These are waterproof now. Now our throttle cord that we've been feeding up underneath our seat, we're gonna take this, and there's a cord right here connected to the motor, and you're gonna line those little prong ends up and connect them. So put those in and you just kind of twist on until it goes tight. And I just heard the motor come on, so she's on right now. So let's head up to the throttle and I'll show you. Okay, up to the actual throttle, right at the top you're gonna see the bars, and that's your battery power. Right now this battery is full. You're gonna see your voltage, and this will change depending on the battery. You're gonna see the percentage, and basically whenever I throttle up, that percentage is gonna change. So if I throttle up now, that's 26% of my power being used, and I'm drawing 8 to 9 watts. So in this position, that is neutral. You push up, 15. The more you go up, the more power you're gonna draw and the faster you're gonna go. That's full throttle at 100%, draw her back to neutral. And then if you're gonna go reverse, it's down, obviously. There's full reverse. Now just keep in mind, you have to pull that gray cord and have to hold it in place whenever you're going in reverse. Otherwise that prop is gonna go up in the air. And as you can see, folks, it isn't affecting the prop at all. In fact, I'll turn it this way. It's not gonna hit it. There's actually about 3 inches of clearance there from the prop to the rudder, so there's no worry about that. Put her down, neutral. Shut her off, you just push it once, and now it doesn't work at all. Now sometimes whenever you plug your batteries in, this thing is gonna beep on you multiple times. And for you to reset it, is just to hold this in, and then it will reset for you. And you're gonna come up to like these lines. Just push the actual on button once, and then you got your zeros, and then you're in propeller mode and battery mode. So a little kill switch demonstration. Let's say I'm on the water and for some reason I roll my kayak, I have this thing attached to my life vest and I go off and I'm going at a speed of about 80% of my power. If I take this, battery just cut out. So I fell in, this thing is hanging off the side of me. Before you put it back on, take the throttle and put it back to neutral. And then put this back on. And then it'll stop beeping, and then you can go back to your business. So it is a pretty cool install, folks. And you know, if you have an Old Town Bigwater like I do, maybe you might consider installing a Newport NK300 with a similar setup like mine. But obviously you can adjust it to your needs and what your comfortability level is. But before we actually end the episode, I'm gonna actually show you how easy it is to detach this motor, and you can take it into your vehicle whenever you hit the road. So taking it off is very, very easy, folks. We're just gonna come up here to this top plate. We're gonna take this carabiner off the hole and take it and just attach it to one of the holes down here. Just lock it in place. And then you're gonna take the one on your reverse pulley cord here, this carabiner, and just kind of find somewhere to mount it as well. There's a little hole right there that I can mount it in, and basically that's just to kind of keep it moving whenever you're driving on the road. Next, take your actual battery cord here and disconnect. Now just keep in mind, you're going to be taking the battery and the cords with you in the vehicle, as well as the throttle and cords too. There, disconnect that. Now to take off the actual motor itself, again, very, very easy. We're just gonna come down and we're gonna take this little knob off, but first you gotta take that little pin out the side, just like we did earlier whenever we put the motor on at first. So once you get that pin out, just like that, make sure you don't lose these. Twist off your knob, and you're gonna pull that other side out. There's the other piece. And just like that, guys, you are taking your motor into the vehicle with you, and you're ready for the road to go home. So stay tuned for a future video where I'll be taking out my Old Town Bigwater and we're going to be putting the NK300 to the test. We're going to be testing out top speeds. I'm going to be putting it into different conditions such as strong currents and winds, and we're going to see what this NK300 is made of. We're going to get ourselves ready for a future kayak fishing tournament for striped bass. So if you guys did enjoy this motor installation video, please drop it a like, consider leaving a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Until the next episode, guys, stay determined to cast because you are destined to catch. Take care.